Hi, Jenna. Come in.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for having me in your gorgeous hotel room.
Welcome.
So we're in the Broadwick in Soho today. What brings us here?
This is the heart of London, so it's one of my favorite places that I fell in love with when I first came to London.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here.
Oh, lovely. I love it. Thank you. And what have you ordered us for room service, more importantly? What have we got here?
So we've got an omelette. I like egg white omelettes, but this is a egg with yolk omelette. And then we've got a green juice, kale, spinach, lemon, a little bit of apple, and then a croissant because who doesn't like croissant?
Totally. I'm glad that you threw that in there because it was looking a little bit healthy.
Yeah. But it's good for you, protein, little carb, little like vitamins, minerals. And then also in our coffee today is the mushroom mother-made egg blend.
Right. So let's jump.
I stirred it in for us already.
Oh, it's in there.
It's in there.
Oh, okay.
It's in there. But this is basically my like all-time favorite thing to have in the morning. And I put it with my coffee every single morning. And it basically evens out the energy flow. So instead of having a coffee that shoots you into...
Oh, it doesn't have like a taste, so you don't notice it. No. Okay.
No.
So you have that every morning?
Every morning. Do you like it?
Yeah,
Mm.
I do. So this is your brand.
Yes.
I keep wanting to say mother of mushrooms, like mother of dragons. So I think you kind of like need that.
I love that.
Your
mushroom gallery.
mushrooms. So like, what is it exactly? Can I have a look?
Yeah. So basically the AM blend is like my absolute favorite 3 mushrooms that help me wake up and thrive. So it's got lion's mane in it, which is good for your cognitive health and brain health, brain function, helps get rid of brain fog.
Yeah.
And then it has cordyceps in it, which is really good for energy. Cordyceps. Cordyceps is like touted as like the athlete's mushroom, and we're like, no.
So they're all different types of mushrooms, basically.
Yeah. And then chaga is like the immunity mushroom, and it's got amazing immunomodulators in it. Great for your health, great for not getting sick in these winter months.
Oh, God, I need to bathe in it. Yeah, that's amazing. So obviously, like your background is supermodel. Oh, yeah. So how did you or why did you transition from that to doing like a wellness brand? What was the sort of
so
inspiration?
I think wellness was inherently part of like the modeling industry because I had to look good.
Yeah.
And then the mushrooms part came into it because I also wanted to feel good. And unfortunately, back in the days with like a limited kind of knowledge, even though I did surround myself with like nutritionists, natural practitioners, but personal trainers, the knowledge was really limited. And so often what we did to look good didn't translate into feeling good.
Yeah.
And so mushrooms really came into my life and saved me in terms of that. So I was now looking good and feeling good. But also what inspired me goes all the way back to my childhood. I'm a New Zealander, and so nature's been like a big part of my identity because that's where I grew up. But also my mother is half Indigenous, so she's Māori.
Oh.
Well, I'm half Indigenous, she's full Indigenous. She's Māori. So through my mother's teachings, like nature and natural remedies was a massive part of my childhood. And so that's really where like the inspiration or like where the first kind of like affinity with natural plant medicine started. But it wasn't until later that I revisited it and kind of like went back to what I knew and loved after being met by, you know, all of the crazy convoluted world of the health and wellness industry, which can often seem so confusing. And
that's I'm all for wellness.
Yeah.
I really am. But it can be really confusing when you don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have the background that you have. And on, social media, there's so much out there. Like you have to balance your hormones or you have to do this and take that and do, whatever.
Definitely. And I think that's what just like brought me back to what's so simple.
Yeah.
Because I was, I in my industry, I had to be performing at the absolute top. And so I was being told by nutritionists and by all of the people that were around me that you have to like do this diet trick or health fair. And so basically I'm like your number one guinea pig. I've tried it all, been here, done that. And I was like, enough is enough. And I'm just going to go back to what I know, which is my philosophy, which is water, sleep, good nutrition. And if you're going to supplement from nature.
Because you got into modelling super young, didn't you?
Really young. I was a baby. I was 15, but then I moved to New York when I was 17. That was a really big leap, especially because I wasn't from a big city. I was from like a small little country town, and I like had a pet sheep growing up.
Did you genuinely have a pet? Yeah, I have a Welsh background, so I always get the sheep shagging jokes. So I'm like, yeah,
The
but you
people.
actually had a pet sheep.
Yes, I did. I had a pet sheep. His name was Loris.
Love it.
And he was more like a dog. I could call to him and he would bound across the paddock towards me and would hang out, tell him my secrets. The boys I've kissed at school. He was my best friend, my secret.
So was Laura still alive when you moved to New York? You had
Do you know what? I know I had to leave him and he stayed living longer than any sheep should. So the life expectancy is
bloody mushrooms. That's what it was. Yeah. He was stashing away the mushrooms. But
it is. I mean, yeah, true. Probably was getting into those in the paddock. But he was only supposed to live 10 to 12 years is like maximum, and then he lived 16 years.
So when you were 15, did you kind of actively pursue a career in modelling, or how did it happen?
Yeah, so
you're obviously, not blessed genetically in any way. So right, yeah, you had to really try.
Thanks to mum and dad and the genetic pool that I got brought into, it found me. And I mean, what an incredible opportunity to be like brought to New York and be able to work with like the massive fashion houses like Calvin Klein and Monvar and Dolce & Gabbana and I mean all the houses that I was so lucky to be able to work with, Marc Jacobs, from such a young age. So it was an opportunity that I kind of like grabbed with both hands. But was it something that I was passionate about? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I ever really was. But
why do you think it's once you were in it?
Because I'm a tomboy. And I think right now I'm like really appreciative for it. Like, and it's something I've been doing it now for 15 years.
Side of omelette, by the way, while you come on, let's do it.
I've been modeling now for 15 years, and it's like I'm like so lucky to do it, and I'm really appreciative of it. But initially, no, it wasn't what I set out to do or set out to be.
It kind of found you.
It found me in a movie theater.
When you're in New Zealand and you're hanging out with your sheep,
yes,
what did you dream when you were like a little girl? What did you dream of being? If it wasn't being a supermodel, like what was it?
I wanted to be an occupational therapist. I'm like, so no, just like a minute on that.
So, like, genuinely in the kind of health industry from an early age.
So my background at school was I played netball. Do you know what netball is?
Of course, I know what netball is. Yeah,
Americans don't know what netball is, but
no, really,
the Europeans do. Right?
I mean, I'm a strap at it, but I played it. Yeah.
So I ended up actually playing for my country when I was for high school level.
Oh, you're one of these.
When I was
you're one of these.
No, I was just that. That's like it was my absolute everything. And my brother was the genius that was great with everything except for sports, and he was like in the arts and everything, and I was kind of only like I was like the jock, kind of just like good at sports. And so yeah, that was my passion. I wanted to be a silver fern. And so when I got the silver fern is like the national team.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like 6'1", so it kind of like it all was happening for me. And then I got the call to go to New York for the Calvin Klein exclusive show. And I did that. And as I got on the plane, I got a letter from Netball New Zealand saying that I've made it into the under 21 squad at 17. I bawled my eyes out being like, I don't even know who Calvin Klein is.
So this is like your sliding moment.
It was a very sliding door. And thank God, because if you're a silver fern, you also have to have like 3 other jobs. Women's in sport doesn't exactly pay well, which is really shocking. But
yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? Hopefully that'll change. And yeah, I think it's already changing, isn't it?
For female football, yeah, for sure.
But once you got to New York, how did you end up working for Victoria's Secrets? Because did I read this right? You were the first New Zealand female. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, how did that come about?
Accident. I was really lucky to have done the shows that I did, and back in those days, the casting from the VS show were people that did really well in like the fashion scene first. So I think that's why it was like the crown jewel to get that, because it meant that you weren't just some like hot pretty girl that came from nowhere. Like you'd just done like the four cities, fashion, New York, London, Paris, Milan.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess I was lucky enough to do that. And then my career kind of catapulted
I can
from
imagine.
that.
Yeah, I mean, that's
point
such a
forward.
platform. What was like the casting process like for that? Because you hear,
It was so scary.
yeah, I heard like really mixed things, that it's like terrifying.
It was terrifying, but at the same time, like, because I'm from a sporting background, I kind of just treated it like my Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that I'm training for. Like, I'm going to do all of the things that I've learned to, like, make sure, like, my mind, body, and spirit is in check.
Yeah.
And just try and be myself as much as possible. But, like, I was 18, 19. So it was, like, it was daunting, really daunting. You walk out, there's an entire panel in front of you. You're wearing next to nothing.
Yeah. How do you prepare? Like, as an 18-year-old, how do you, like, mentally prepare for something like that? Like, or do you just naturally have one of those sort of personalities that you don't overthink it and it's like, what'll be, will be? You don't.
I think maybe that was the key. Maybe that was the key back then, is that I was so naive to the entire experience that I didn't think too much about it.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably be worse now
Yeah.
than I was.
I would be horrendous. Hence, they never called me for that.
Right. I can imagine you with the wings.
Yeah. Yeah, the wings I can do. Maybe in a onesie, not in a bead.
And above that.
Yeah. So, sorry, going back to the mushrooms. So you're in this industry, you're feeling kind of fed up with all of the misleading kind of wellness dialogue. And so in the back of your mind, was this concept like bubbling away? Or when was the moment where you were like, do you know what? I want to do something with this. I want to make that transition from model to entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to outline the fact that I hit chronic burnout. Yeah, when I was like 24, and I've been flying all over the world, kind of keeping up with the Joneses, doing things to make sure I was looking good, but not necessarily feeling good.
Yeah.
And it all just got a bit much because like everyone on the outside thought I was so successful, but like inside I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't feeling that. And I've always been really connected to me and myself, and I was very lucky, got brought up in a very well-rounded family and lots of structure. And then I got catapulted into a world where there was zero structure. And luckily we traveled around a lot as kids. So that part of it I was like kind of used to. But yeah, it did, you know, inevitably it got to me a bit. And so at 24, I hit chronic burnout and I was flying around. I was just like, enough is enough. I really need to get my health in order and my health in check. And that's when I turned to the health and wellness industry and was just met by kind of like misinformation. And that's when the light bulb first started. I was like, wow, like even like health foods, like protein bars that we were told to eat. Yeah, you turn around the wrapper and there'll be like 800 ingredients that like you can't even pronounce.
Yeah. Or just chemicals and
let alone, yeah, exactly, not ingredients. And so if that was health, that's where I was like starting to scratch my head where like, that's not health. And if like, that's what we're being turned to, I want to kind of disrupt this industry because the way I grew up, which was like so much more like pure and natural and might cost way less money by the way, was actually the better alternative. And I felt way better then. So I was like trying to mix like, how do I get back to that? Was still keeping up with this like fast-paced modern life that I had set myself up to, because like there were times where it's like, well, maybe you could just quit modeling and go and do a normal job. But it's like, I still want to live my fast-paced life. And I think a lot of us are like that. Like we live these crazy modern lives and then we're trying to fit in like 3 hours of meditation and 2 hours of yoga. And so it was about the balance. I know everyone talks about balance, but it really was. And that's why when I found mushrooms, I was like, oh my God, like I can really feel good and not on this perpetual roller coaster that like coffee sends me on and sleeping medication sends me on, and kind of just be at this even steady flow of like good health, good immunity, good sleeping patterns. That's the one that really like put me over the edge. Like when I finally slept well, then everything else kind of fell into place. Like I wasn't reaching for the Snickers bar at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and then feeling bad about it because I wasn't tired at 3 p.m. because I had really nice sleep. And then I had like even flowing energy throughout the day. And so I didn't get that crash in the afternoon. It's all really connected.
Yeah, of course.
And it's all really simple.
So I know, like you said, your background is very much like your upbringing in nature and everything, but kind of mushrooms specifically.
Yeah.
How was that just through like your research or?
There was, I mean, I found them in LA
Okay.
LA, like the home.
We're talking the sort of ones that make you like the hallucinations.
No, not those ones. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Stop it. I found them in LA when it was kind of like a thing, but this is also like 8 years ago. So it's like kind of like before, well, almost 12, almost 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Before it was like more of a thing. And so because models as a community, but you know what I mean? Like we kind of like, we were each other's work colleagues. We would pass around information, and that would be one of the ones of like, how have you tried this? These adaptogens. It wasn't like mushrooms, it was like functional adaptogens. And so that's where it kind of first started. But then I battled back and forth of like, oh, how to kind of manage. And then where it really, really became like my passion is kind of just before COVID. And I was already doing like a lot of research on it, and I kind of like deep dive whenever I like something. I really like get my teeth around.
Yeah.
It becomes like I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And so in COVID, one of my friends from high school, she was living in New York at the time. She loved mushrooms, and she actually was in the health and wellness kind of industry. She was the first person to start this health and wellness place in our small town, like kind of the forefront of health and well-being, where usually there's like McDonald's and KFC, and that's pretty much it in this little town. So she's always been like a trailblazer. And she loved mushrooms and I love mushrooms, and we just fully like nerded out, geeked out on it. And then when we came back to New Zealand, there wasn't any mushroom brands there, especially not with the potency and double dual extracted and all of the things that we know you need from a mushroom brand on the technical kind of side.
Right.
And so we were like, well, let's order some mushrooms, really amazing mushrooms that we really love. And we realized the minimum order quantity was like 100 kilograms or 100 tons or whatever it was. It was just some ridiculous amount. And we're like, well, we're going to have to give our family and friends mushrooms for their birthdays and Christmas presents for the rest of their lives, because there's no way we're selling mushrooms. This is hilarious. And we ended up selling out in the first 3 weeks, being from the creative industry, and I love branding, marketing, all of that kind of stuff. So like we sat there and created our packaging. We didn't hire anyone to do it. We really liked it.
I really wanted to ask you about that, because I'm a bit of a branding nerd as well, and I just like love like it just looks so cool. You know, I would have that out on the counter in the kitchen, and then I style it out. So I wanted to know, like, are you responsible? It's like, how involved in the kind of behind the scenes stuff do you get?
Yeah, we got Canva, the 30-day free subscription.
Yeah.
We made the packaging and then deleted our subscription before we got charged.
Love that.
And then we got some like fans.
It's like a Canva logo essentially. Then
it's Object Sans. So Object Sans is the branding for Nike, Instagram, blah blah blah. We said if it works for them, and it will work for us.
Great, beautiful.
And then League Spartan is the end one. That's just because I liked it.
And then in terms of like the shape, because it's like super tactile, and it's like
that was sustainable.
That's so satisfying. Yeah, but. Hang on. People love that. They'll go nuts for that. Yeah. There you go. Selling out of there, mate.
I need to get that just for me. And
I'll give you the sound as well. You're welcome.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. So I got the giggles now. So I mean, there's the packaging side of it that was to do with sustainability. We wanted to do like a recycled cardboard.
Yeah.
Because glass was really sustainable, but because it had to travel such long distances, the carbon footprint then goes up. If you really look into packaging and the sustainability side of it, it's so weird. You go in like a massive loop from like plastic is bad to like maybe plastic is actually easier to recycle, but then cardboard and then aluminium is really good. So we had the luxury of time because of COVID. So we really deep dive. Like everything about our brand is on purpose.
It's recent-ish in the UK, but it's been around a lot longer.
Yeah, in New Zealand, they've been available in New Zealand for 3 years.
Okay.
And then in Australia now, and now into the UK. But I've lived in the UK while I've been like back and forward, kind of like based here since I was 19. So like 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went from New York for 4 years and then I moved here.
Yeah.
Because I love your guys' humour, and it just feels like my second home sometimes. Yeah, like Mr. Bean, Monty Python, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think like the Kiwis, the Aussies, the Brits, like we've got the odd sarcasm down.
Yes,
like
exactly.
yeah,
exactly.
You're amongst friends with us.
it's a real buzz, the city. I think it's hard to not be inspired.
Yeah, I agree. And coming from the country, that's quite an interesting insight. Like like gravitate towards the city.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up in the country in Wales and I love London. I'm here all the time, but I don't know if I could live here again.
Really?
I mean, I'm here all the time, but yeah, I love to visit and I do like to kind of retreat and kind of be with the grass and the sheep. Sheep, yeah.
But I'm the same now. I think I'm kind of like, I've gone like country to city, and now I'm finding myself quite often in the countryside.
Yeah.
And like back with nature.
So do you have any mentors or really kind of people that have been really inspirational in your life or?
Yeah, I mean, I really do just find inspiration through so many different people, but especially like the women in my life. I think my mother was a huge inspiration to me. Unfortunately, she passed. I was carrying her, but but that's okay. She was an absolute powerhouse and like really funny, but super organized. She's like who I kind of aspire to be like.
Yeah.
Really good businesswoman. And then my girlfriends, I think I've always, maybe because of my affinity with my mother, my love for my mother, I've always surrounded myself by like also really powerful but fun-loving girls as well. So like my friend Gala, she's in like a film. My friend Poppy has like her own acting career, but then she also is an entrepreneur and started Delete. My friend Mary's a DJ and mum, and like they've all kind of like multifaceted women.
Yeah.
And I think like through them through them, I'm always staying inspired by them. But then in terms of also like not mentorship, but people outside my group of friends, like being from the fashion industry, like Vivienne Westwood and like Stella McCartney, like people that really push the bounds and use their platforms to do something more than fashion. And also Stella McCartney was always using like sustainable fabrics, and she just did like a handbag that was made out of mushroom leather. And I thought that was always just really cool, like just thinking outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. So the name, you've made me think of it in a different way now. Mother Maid, like, is it a nod to your own mother, but also motherhood and sisterhood and Mother Earth?
Yeah, I think it's up to interpretation, but I think it's all of those things.
Okay, so you ready for the big one? This is what I'm going to ask everybody, and I want to know your take on it. So I want to know one thing that scares you, one thing that inspires you, and one thing that you kind of want to be known for, remembered for, like your legacy. Jessica Clarke, this is your life.
So the thing that scares me is regrets. I've always thought that. I don't know why. I think it's because opportunity. What is it? I think there's no such thing as luck. It's opportunity paired with preparation.
Let me just process that. There's no such thing as luck. It's
opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's the luck bit.
Yeah.
Paired with preparation. So
Yeah.
you're ready for it.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to regret not taking an opportunity because I didn't think I was ready for it. So I've always prepared. And so therefore, like, maybe I look lucky, but
actually there's a whole thing.
I think I also am lucky. I'm going to put it out there right now, like 100,000,000%. Like the deck of cards that I got dealt, I'm like, don't for a second take that for granted.
Yeah.
But that's my one regret, is like one fear is regretting not taking an opportunity that she presented to me. So I just say yes to everything.
So that's one thing that scares you. So one thing that inspires you.
Nature.
Yeah. Okay.
It really is. That's a mother of all like inspiration for me.
Yeah.
And whenever I am feeling like it's too much, I always just go back to nature, put my feet on the grass. I know it sounds cliche, but truly it does like ground me. And that will always be
more of that. You've inspired me. Yeah, to go and rub grass all over myself after this. If I get a little taste of what you're giving out. And then how would you want to be? What's your legacy? Like, how would you want to be remembered? Because you've achieved so much already, and you're only just starting out.
Oh, am I only just starting out?
Yeah, of course you are.
No,
it's just yet to come, maybe.
I honestly just think I want to be remembered for being. This sounds so simple, but remember just for being like a nice person with morals and integrity. I think we all get like caught up. Or I have been in the past when I've had imposter syndrome and being like caught up with trying to be something unimportant or trying to be something. And I think at the end of the day, like it's not, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree.
I want to bring everyone with me instead of like climbing the ladder and kicking people off on my way up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Bring everyone up with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Chris.
I can't believe it's sleep by me and you down.
You don't. You'll be careful what you wish for, babe. Yeah.